Talking about letting things go. Talking about letting things go. Have you guys heard about the London tube strikes? Yes, I'm sure you've heard about it. They started on what, Sunday, I think, and they're going all the way until Friday. Essentially, the tube drivers and staff in general are striking because, if I'm not mistaken, they feel like they've been overworked. They are currently working 35 hours a week, full time, which is pretty decent. Most places that I've worked at before, full-time hours are like 40 plus, and they are demanding that they work 32 hours only, so they're not as knackered. Obviously, the government is rejecting that because that would mean they would have to hire more staff to cover the hours, and it also would mean if they get down to 32 hours, they could also basically charge more or earn more from their overtime. But essentially, they ground the city to a halt. There's only 2 lines that are working, I think, the Overground and the Elizabeth line. All the buses are still running, but the buses are now overwhelmed because everybody that should be on the train is on the buses, and people are required to go to work still. People are required to go to work. So some of these pictures are pretty fucking crazy. People have decided to take all these pictures of people trying to get to work, getting home, and it's been pretty fucking crazy, all the scenes that have been kind of playing out across London. And again, it's just a reminder of just how ridiculous this whole situation is. This is another viral clip. This, I think, is from a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It features a driver of one of our London Underground trains. Somebody took a video of them, and the driver in the train, the lady in the train, is not only knitting, she's also watching something on her phone that's placed on the front dash of the fucking train, because the trains, most of them are kind of like semi-automatic or fully autonomous, whatever it may be. So these are really fucking cool. And then there's these pictures or video clips of people stood outside Liverpool Street Station queuing up, waiting for the gates to open, maybe, or maybe for the platforms to be clear. But either way, they're all queuing up maybe to go on the one line that's available, which is the Elizabeth line. Pretty fucking nuts. Then you've got this clip that features a bunch of people jumping on bikes, line bikes, their own pedal bikes to get to work. I'm assuming the streets are probably full of first-time riders who haven't really been riding much, but now that the trains are not running, suddenly everybody grabs a bike and needs that to go where they need to go to. And one of the most disturbing clips actually was this clip that features a bunch of people trying to force their way onto a bus. And as you can see from that image here, it's completely full, right? It's completely full, but this is what happens. You just have to do what you have to do to get to work. People are squeezing in as much as possible, trying to get every last squeeze in before the doors close so that they can, essentially travel to work in some regard. And I've been there before. It's fucking wild, but it does work. You just force yourself onto the bus, you kind of get yourself in there, and as soon as the doors close, it kind of gives you a bit of breathing room for you to kind of go back to standing up again. But again, absolutely crazy scenes. And the funny thing about all this stuff, right, the funny thing about all these clips that you're seeing is that most likely, right, especially this clip here where you see everybody at Liverpool Street Station heading outside or going to the Elizabeth line, one of the really crazy things about this sort of situations is that I could bet probably, I'd say like 70%, 80% of the people that you see in this video clip slowly but surely walking out of the station, walking into the station, they most likely have a bag that has a laptop in it. They most likely have a bag that has their work laptop in it, or they're going to an office to work on their work laptop. So there's no need for these people to be here. They could be working from home very, very easily. But, a few years ago, a few CEOs decided that working from home was the greatest offense ever, and that people needed to return back to the office because the level of work and focus and stuff was not what it needed to be. So they decided to kind of implement this new thing where no one's allowed to work from home. And unfortunately, I have to blame my hero. I have to blame one of my North Stars, Elon Musk, for it. I think Elon Musk was the guy that started the trend or started the push to return people back to the offices. Because I remember when Elon took over Twitter, one of the things that people copied about him was him firing a bunch of people and running Twitter with a very lean kind of team. It led to a lot of issues, it led to a lot of downtime, it led to a lot of bugs, a lot of things. But in the end, he was somewhat vindicated because Twitter is still running and it's pretty much the same. And it's got like, I don't know, it's got probably 10% of the staff it once had before, because they're just hiring people for the sake of hiring them. And everyone kind of looked at Elon when he did that. I was like, oh shit, maybe I can do that at my company. And you saw a bunch of other CEOs, a bunch of other entrepreneurs, a bunch of other Silicon Valley tech people were kind of implementing that rule as well. But like, okay, let's just whittle down our workforce, cut the jobs by 8%, and just keep the most, high performing skilled workers of the team and go from there. That doesn't obviously work all the time, but it's something that you see. So I remember when that happened. And then, of course, the work from home situation happened, and Elon was one of the big proponents of it. So I think he started off the drive, if I'm not mistaken, with SpaceX, because I think at the time there were a few people working from home from SpaceX. And then obviously when COVID lockdowns kind of eased up and shit, he was very adamant in saying that or even on Twitter, Twitter and SpaceX, I think he was very adamant. He said, oh, everyone has to return back to the office. If you don't return back to the office, he basically said that basically counts as a resignation, and you get your severance and you're basically gone. And since then, a bunch of other companies have copied him, which is why you see everybody returning back to the office. But I generally don't think all these people need to be in the office. It should always be optional, I think, in general, because there are some people who do enjoy going into a physical office, who don't want to be cooped up in their home all day. They want to see the world, or see the city, sorry. They want to maybe meet their colleagues face to face. They want to just have a change of routine. They want to get out, fresh some fresh air, get some steps in, whatever it may be. But I think it should be an option. I think it should be an option, And because it's not an option nowadays, most places that are hiring anyway that I've seen, most of them require you to kind of commit to coming in 3 days a week or even 5 days a week. But they make it very clear that, hey, this is not a fully remote job. I have seen some places that say stuff like, it's not fully remote, but on like the last Friday of the month, it's usually a day when no one's allowed, where everyone can kind of stay home. Which, I guess could work. But I think overall, there is no need for this amount of people to be in the office. There really isn't. It's a real piss take. It's really out of order, and I hope they figure out a solution for it soon, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.